enough to have to build extra rooms on our house to accommodate all the riches that we have, or to build extra barns, or to set up new businesses. However, the lesson is there. Lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust and thieves break through and consume, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. How? We know how not to accumulate treasures on earth. That's easy enough, because we're none of us rich enough to be doing that. If you are, don't do it. But how do we lay up treasure in heaven? Which is what we need to do. We do it by obeying God, by keeping the commandments of God. The chiefest of all, according to Christ himself, is to love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your soul. And, just as important, to love your neighbour as yourself. That means taking note of the needs of your neighbour and helping. Okay, you may not be able to give £100 to your neighbour to help him or her, but you can speak. You can speak. Show that you care with your voice. Sometimes it's enough to say to somebody, and we hear enough of it these days on every meeting, to start talking. When people come to make their confession, what do? They tell God, who already knows everything that they've done wrong. Everything. Without shame. Because the priest sitting there listening is exactly the same. What sin are you going to confess that the priest has not already done? Nobody's surprised me so far. One way or another, we all commit exactly the same sin. The nature of the sin is not all that important, although it's what catches us every time. It's the fact that we have fallen short. We have fallen short of what God commands. So if we are to build for ourselves treasures in heaven, we start now, today, to love God by offering him our prayers, by offering him our thanksgiving for what we have, and by offering help to our neighbour. That's how we start to build up treasure in heaven. I needn't tell you yet again the story of whichever saint it was, because I can't remember, who was asked by the emperor or the king, can't remember that either, to build him a palace. And he said, oh yes, give me lots of gold and I will build you a palace. So the king gave him lots of gold, then the king went off travelling, as kings do, as prime ministers. And when he came back, he said, how's it going? And the saint said, oh yes, it's going marvellous. But I haven't got any money left. Can I have some more to build your palace? Yes. And what was the saint doing with all the money that he was getting? He was giving it away to the poor. And then the man in a dream saw the palace which the saint was building for him in heaven, because of the great gifts that he was giving to others. This was building up a palace in heaven. We should do the same. In prayer, in helping our neighbours, in loving each other, but in loving our neighbour also. Don't follow the example of the world. In the world, it's so important that we leave an inheritance to our children. That inheritance should have little, if any, bricks and mortar. But that inheritance should have what these children are getting now, sitting here at the feet of God, listening to the gospel, quietly in their hearts, saying their prayers. This is the treasure which they are building. And if you want to leave them in inheritance, bring them to church. Pray for them. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my children. They're so naughty, they're awful, this. I keep telling them off. Did it make any difference? No. Pray for them. Did that make any difference? I don't know. Only God knows exactly what difference that makes. So we put our trust in God. In this way, we are building for ourselves treasure in heaven, where nothing can break in and destroy. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.